So this week, President Donald Trump endorsed his friend Lindsey Graham, and we have to read the endorsement, of course, in a Donald Trump voice for entertainment purposes only. Sorry to offend any hardcores. Not really, though. Senator Lindsey Graham is working incredibly hard for the great people of South Carolina, a state I love and won big in 2016, 2020, and 2024. Lindsey has always been a wonderful friend to me and has always been there when I needed him. As the chair of the Senate Budget Committee, Lindsey is fighting tirelessly to grow the economy, lower taxes, and eliminate government waste. Grow the economy or grow the debt? Joking. Just kidding. Lindsey is also relentlessly focused on helping us secure the border, stop migrant crime, strongly support our great military vets, promote American energy dominance, defend our always under siege Second Amendment, and ensure peace through strength. All caps, of course, caps lock. I love the caps lock. Senator Lindsey Graham has my complete and total endorsement for re-election. He will not let you down. Everyone in South Carolina should help Lindsey have a big win next year. Oh man, where to start? Let's start with this rally where Trump brought out Lindsey Graham only to get booed relentlessly.
Another man who's always there. He's always, I'll tell you what, when I need help on the left, he's great. He's great. And he's my friend too. Lindsey Graham, wherever you are. Lindsey, thank you. Oh, no. He helps me on the left. We need help sometimes. Republicans shouldn't need help on the left, but he helps me.
He helps me with the left. Oh man, that's not even the best one. This is the best one where Donald Trump gets booed and then says he's going to work on his people to try to convince South Carolina to like Lindsey Graham more.
Again, Senator Lindsey Graham, who is really I'm going to have to work. I'm going to have to work on these people. I'm going to have to. All right. He's there. He's there when you need him. He's there when you need him. I'm going to get him straightened out. Do you mind if I come here and campaign a little bit for you? I'll tell you what, he was one of my earliest endorsements right from the go, and I appreciate it very much. I appreciate it, Lindsey.
I'm going to have to work on these people. Silly Trump supporters who don't like Lindsey Graham. Trump will work on you and fix your brain. Make sure you guys get in line. But jokes aside, everybody that's acting shocked by Trump endorsing Lindsey Graham, clearly they missed the part where he said that he was going to come campaign for him last year at his rally.
Do you mind if I come here and campaign a little bit for you?
And a lot of MAGA seems disappointed, including a lot of hardcore Trump supporters, except for this one guy on Twitter. I want to give him a shout out. He seems like a big fan of mine. Alan Jacoby said, "Because you're a and don't understand politics." Well, thank you, Alan. Appreciate your fandom. It's a nice picture of him and Trump in his profile picture. He looks like Trump's Christmas ornament. But anyway, my thoughts are, it's crazy work for Operation Warp Speed Man to try to primary Thomas Massie and endorse Lindsey Graham. I don't even need to talk about this much because most of my audience knows, but Lindsey Graham is your classic neocon, warhawk, establishment uniparty shill, and Trump keeps him around for some reason and constantly picks on Thomas Massie, who had the balls to stand up against the CARES Act during the COVID lockdown. You'll never hear this from Donald Trump because he tried to kick him out of the party after this, but listen to what Thomas Massie said in March 2020 when the Congress was trying to pass the CARES Act while concealing their vote and not even letting you know who voted yes or no, because in his opinion, they were ashamed of making one of the biggest mistakes in history.
Mr. Speaker, I came here to make sure our republic doesn't die by unanimous consent in an empty chamber, and I request a recorded vote.
Congressman, both sides of the chamber didn't cease to let you do this recorded vote.
Well, they didn't even give me a minute to speak in a 4-hour debate. There's a big cover-up in there.
You believe it's a cover-up, sir?
Well, they're trying to cover up their votes. They had enough people there to pass the bill, but they still refused to have a recorded vote. And they told me they were trying to protect members.
Don't you believe that that's the case, sir? It's 435 members in a room that can't hold that many.
No. They're trying to protect the members who are there from political ramifications.
There are both sides of the chamber, your side as well as the Democrats, as well as the White House has said that they didn't want you to do this. Why press forward into a bill that everybody agrees should be passed?
Like I said in there, I came here this week to make sure our republic doesn't die in an empty chamber by unanimous consent. These people need to do their jobs. If they're telling people to drive a truck, if they're telling people to bag groceries and grow their food, then by golly, they can be in there and they can vote. And that's what we did this week. They came, and you can see it didn't delay the vote any. They sat on their cans yesterday here. They didn't do a thing yesterday. They were trying to say this would delay it to have a recorded vote. The truth, if you're willing to report it, is they don't want a recorded vote. They don't want to be on record of making the biggest mistake in history.
What a legend. To thank Thomas Massie for being one of the best Republicans, the modern day Ron Paul, and seemingly the only politician that knew that the CARES Act and the COVID lockdowns were a trap and a trick, Donald Trump called him a third-rate grandstander and tried to kick him out of the party. This Massie tweet from March 29th, 2020 still rings true. He said the stimulus package that just passed is the biggest wealth transfer from common folks to the super rich, Wall Street, and bankers in the history of mankind. Done in the name of a virus with $1,200 checks as the cheese in the trap. This will be obvious in short order. Of course, all of MAGA and the Republican Party would have agreed with that a couple years ago, but when it's 15 days to slow the spread and Donald Trump is the quarterback, now all of a sudden he has to do it. He has to do socialism. He has to be a communist. He has to help the pharmaceutical industry. He has to say the vaccine saved 100 million lives. I mean, how is Donald Trump going to beat up the deep state if he doesn't print trillions of dollars, tank the economy, and pretend that his mRNA vaccines are a PhD from Trump University? I mean, how's he going to beat Nancy Pelosi if he can't do that? Anyway, the media caught up to what Thomas Massie said later, being like, oh, look at all the wealth transfer that happened during the pandemic. Oh, who could have saw that coming besides the guy Trump's trying to kick out of the party? Let's listen to Thomas Massie explain it on Tucker Carlson, because this guy definitely deserves my airtime.
Like on the CARES Act, okay? This was under President Trump, the 11th day to slow the spread of 15, right? They said, we're going to pass a $2.2 trillion package and you all just stay home. It's dangerous. Like, we'll just do it by unanimous consent. And it was 11 p.m. I'm sitting in my living room and they send us this message and I'm like, WTF? Like, this is twice the size of the omnibus bill, right? This is going to cause massive inflation. The policies in it are going to cause shortages. And if we don't show up to vote, we're sending a message to all 50 states that you don't have to show up to vote in this election. So it was like, I got to do, I got in my car and I drove 8 hours. I slept 1 hour in a rest stop.
So Trump's trying to oust Thomas Massie out of the party and keep Lindsey Graham. Let's listen to a little bit more of this Trump-Massie COVID beef before we move on.
President Trump was pushing through. Thomas Massie was trying to say, no, we have to do this correctly. We still have a constitution. It has not gone away. And I'm proud of him. I totally support him for what he did.
So he said he would, on the phone, he told me he was going to come at me like I'd never seen, never in your life before have you seen the way in which I will come at you.
Trump said that. Awesome.
Yeah, he said. I feel like he also reminded me, which is true, he's more popular than me in Kentucky. And he said it would be the end of me. And I tried to tell him this was constitutional and we needed to do it this way, and it would still pass anyway because most people were for it. We just couldn't break the Constitution today.
It wasn't the end of Thomas Massie. He won his election anyway, and Donald Trump's still trying to get him out of the party. Along with the Republican Jewish coalition, which has pledged to spend unlimited amounts of money if he dares run for Senate in Mitch McConnell's seat. During Biden's administration, somebody pointed out that Lindsey Graham said, I completely agree with Senator Schumer's strong condemnation of the ICC's action against Israel today. He also said, well said, Mr. President, the ICC is going rogue again. Totally agree with Senator Blinken's analysis of the ICC's action against Israel. Just adding that in there, if you wanted to know what the Uniparty, the neocons, the neoliberals, if you haven't noticed yet what they all agree on constantly, it's that topic. But if you're like Thomas Massie and you vote against speech policing for one race, one religion, and one foreign country, they try to throw you out of Congress. Trump lobbies against you. Not only groups like AIPAC try to kick you out, but also the Republican Jewish coalition says that they're willing to spend money to stop you from getting a better seat. Speaking of the RJC, here's total outsider Vivek Ramaswamy letting the RJC know he's no Thomas Massie. He'll stop those left-wingers from putting anti-Semitic sprinkles on ice cream.
I am 38 years old. I am the first millennial ever to run for U.S. president. I can tell you what's going on in our generation. They are hungry for purpose, for meaning, for a cause, for identity. And for a generation, we've taught them to fill that hunger by going to Ben & Jerry's and ordering a cup of ice cream with some anti-Semitic sprinkles on top. It's no surprise they're now spewing back that same anti-Semitism coming out of their mouth in reverse.
That's right. There is no surprise they're spewing it back, because if you eat sprinkles like that, if even your sprinkles are making your brain turn into propaganda, then, you know, I mean, maybe Trump should deport Ben and Jerry's sprinkles. I don't know. Anyway, I looked at that event that Vivek Scamaswamy, the guy who tweeted an op-ed of George Soros and agreed with it. The pharmaceutical billionaire that used his mom for a study for a drug that was super hyped up, and then the stock ended up crashing into the ground when it failed trial. I forget his name, Vivek, yeah. But, I looked at that RJC event, the group that's trying to stop Thomas Massie from being in a better position, and Chris Christie spoke there. Doug Burgum spoke there. Yeah, that's Doug Burgum, who is buddy with Bill Gates, that, of course, Donald Trump gave a position to. Just like Donald Trump gave a position in his first term to the guy who gave a sweetheart deal to Epstein and Florida. And now, guess who's at the Attorney General doing nothing? Pam Bondi, who was also in Florida after years later, who never looked back into the case. Mike Pence spoke there, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Ronna Romney McDaniel, Tim Scott. I'm surprised Lindsey Graham didn't get invited to this event. How rude. But anyway, what do you think about Trump endorsing Lindsey Graham? Are you surprised? Are you annoyed? Do you think it's five-dimensional chess where he's eventually going to beat Chuck Schumer? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll use my platform to say Thomas Massie is my favorite congressman. He was the most honest during COVID. He's the modern day Ron Paul, as I said earlier, in my belief. And I think it's absolutely disgusting that Donald Trump is trying to kick him out of the party and replace him with more Lindsey Grahams while endorsing Lindsey Graham. And let me just remind you folks, Donald Trump said another country used to completely own Congress, and he's upset that they don't own Congress anymore. Take a listen.
Well, the biggest change I've seen in Congress is Israel literally owned Congress. You understand that 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And it was so powerful. It was so powerful. And today it's almost the opposite. You have between AOC and Omar and these people that hate Israel. They hate it with a passion. They're controlling Congress, and Israel is not a force in Congress anymore. It's just amazing. I've never seen such a change. And we're not talking about over a very long period of time. But I think you know exactly what I'm saying. They had such power. Israel had such power, and rightfully, over Congress, and now it doesn't. It's incredible, actually.
Could that be why Donald Trump is trying to kick Thomas Massie out of the party? Could it be the hundreds of millions of dollars that Trump and the GOP got from mega donors? I don't know. That's probably considered hate speech now, since Donald Trump is doing exactly what he accused Democrats of doing when it comes to policing speech and op-eds on college campuses. But I'll get more into that topic on later videos. Lindsey Graham sucks, but it's really no surprise that Donald Trump endorsed him, because his base is so loyal almost to a fault. He doesn't feel like he needs to change and stop hiring and endorsing neocons. He thinks you need to change, and he has the ability to change you. Is he right? Only time will tell. God bless you guys. Check out my shop at dreamrare.com. Got blue beanies and black beanies, limited time only, and have a beautiful day. I appreciate you considering and listening to this video.